Hello, and thank you for joining me. You know, I was watching a stream the other day, and someone asked about custom stairs, and I couldn't help but remember an old Revit tutorial from 2005 by Bruce Gow, and I thought, wow, what a great video that would make. So here we are, 15 years later. Let's see how it stands up to Revit today. Now this is basically going to be me following along with Bruce's tutorial. You can find that over at his old blog, Revit-alize.blogspot.com. Bruce, if you're watching, what have you been up to these days? I'm going to basically be expounding just a bit more on the modeling of the baluster and railing components that Bruce went over in his tutorial. And I'll be doing this in Revit 2020, so if you're joining us from 2005 when the tutorial is written, your interface may look a bit different. Remember when everybody hated the ribbon system? All right, let's jump in. All right, so this is take 5. I just recorded half of the tutorial with no sound. Instead of doing a voiceover, I figured I'd just do it and make it look like I'm really good at what I'm doing. So we're going to start by creating a stair. And we can see here that this is the custom glass one that I already have. I'm just going to ignore that. And I'm going to start from here, and I'm going to create a new stair type. We're going to call this custom stair redo. You can call it whatever you want, custom glass, custom whatever. We can call it Stairway to Heaven. Doesn't matter. But you want to be descriptive about it. We don't really need to do anything in here. We do want to go ahead and tell it that we don't need any stringers. Now this is a little bit different than the way that it was done in the Revit-alize tutorial, because stair assemblies weren't the thing. You had to sketch everything and it was kind of all one piece. So this is going to differentiate a little bit from the tutorial that we're going off of, but you want to be sure that your stringer types are turned to none. We don't want those. And we want to come in here, and this run type here, we actually want to change this. We're going to duplicate this and call this glass treads. All right. And we want to turn the riser off. We don't want a riser. We just want the treads. So for the material, obviously we want this to look really cool in glass. You can make it whatever material you want. I have a glass PBR material that I just made. That is using PBR settings from inside of Revit, so hopefully it'll look a bit nicer if we want to render that. So I'm going to hit OK there, and we're going to hit OK, and we're going to hit OK again. Now I'm just going to create a stair by sketch here, a run, and we're just going to start it right smack in the middle. And we want this to go from I'm going to make it more like 12 feet. I'm going to change it here in just a second. But I'm just going to make it circle back on itself just like that. And we're going to go all the way up. All the way up. See, it says I've got 4 remaining. So we'll see if it'll let me come back around. 18. There we go. So we can see now that I've got a stair with just the treads. Now, I want to go through this real quick because there might be some of you who are like, well, I've never done stairs and I've never seen a stair like this in Revit. So I want to just change this back to, after I hit finish here, and get rid of the railings. We don't want these default railings. I'm going to go back and change this to the standard stair type that comes in Revit. And I just want to show you what those different things that we did actually, how that affects our stairs. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to edit type again, and I'm going to do this to the default one. You don't want to do this if you're using this somewhere else in your project, so hopefully you're doing this in a little sandbox file. But if we turn our stringers off and hit apply, you can see that that gets rid of the stringers over here. So turn the stringer off, apply, boom. And now we've got just treads and risers. So the way we affect our treads and risers is by updating our run type. That's defined in the run itself. And we can set a material here just like you saw. If I turn treads off and hit apply, we have a very tricky parkour staircase that looks like it might be fun for some people. And if we do the opposite, where we turn treads on and turn risers off, we're left with just our risers, which is exactly where we were with our other one. So I'm just going to cancel out of these, and I'm going to undo all that, and now we're back to our stairs right here of the Stairway to Heaven type. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to create some profiles and balusters that we're going to use to create a railing that constructs our support underneath the stairs and our tension posts. And then we'll come and create a profile for the railing itself, the glass barrier, the guardrail on the edges. One thing I do want to do real quick though, some of the dimensions that I'm going to be using are going to be in metric out of the tutorial. The other ones that I'm going to be using are things that aren't in the tutorial that I'm more familiar with, and just to speed up the process, I'm going to use feet and inches for those. And I'll kind of try to remember to let you know what it is that I'm using. Another thing to take note of is that if I do something and you're just like, what in the world just happened? But just put in comments, hey, you know, at 2 minutes and 51 seconds, you did some crazy magic, and I have no idea what you did. I use a lot of keyboard shortcuts. You don't have to, but if you find that and you don't know what happened, it might have been a keyboard shortcut. I will definitely go back and review it and post what we did. So one of the things that Bruce did is he did a 1,000 millimeter wide stair, and that'll be important to come back to when we start making our post tension or our tension rod posts. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1,000 millimeters in and hit OK and hit OK. And we can see that hopefully that updated the width there. Oh, minimum run width. I think I changed that instead of the actual width here. So if I edit stairs, and then I select the run itself, that's where I need to put 1,000 millimeters. Now we can see that that actually updated. Okay, so here we are. We've got our fun little tread-only stair, and now we're going to create our support. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to create the railing. Now, there's probably some other ways to do this, but like I said, we're going to be doing this the Stairway to Heaven tutorial way, which is we're going to create a new profile family. So we're going to do File, New Family, and we're going to come down here to Profiles, and we're going to use our profile templates. If you don't have these, you need to be sure you have your data set installed from the install process from your Revit install file, or download them from Autodesk site, because you'll need this template in order for this to work the way that we're intending it to. So I'm just going to draw my wide flanged beam. I'm going to draw it correctly. And this is one of those things that in the tutorial it's not really mentioned what size it should be, so I'm just going to make one that I think is mostly correct. So I'm going to go back like 3.75 inches. I'm going to come down, I don't know, like 6 inches. But essentially you just want to make an eye shape. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect. I think I'm going to make mine just a little bit longer. Let's put like 8 inches in there. Alright, it might not need to be quite as wide. I think maybe I'm going to shorten it by 1 inch on each side. Alright, and then I'm just going to move this to the middle here. Now, Bruce mentions in his tutorial that we want this to be about 300 millimeters below our plane. This is the top of the tread, essentially. So I'm going to trust him on that. You might have to come in and adjust it based on what stair type you're going to make. And I am just going to load this into the project. You can save this if you want to keep this as a profile. I know this is a one-off for me, so I'm probably just going to load this straight in and rename it into the project. So I just hit load in the project, and then I'm going to scroll down here in the project browser to the families. I'm going to expand that, and then I'm going to go to profiles, and we can see here that family 5. I'm going to rename that to I-beam, which is already in use because I've already done this once before with no audio. I'm going to call this I-beam. You can call it WF if you want to, but I want to be somewhat consistent with the tutorial. So next what we want to do is we're going to create our baluster posts, and we'll do that using the baluster family template. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video and you want to continue working on this beautiful custom stair in Revit, make sure you check out the next part where we'll go over the baluster families and getting those prepared for coming into our custom stair type.